Welcome to the Work From Home Milspo Movement Podcast, a place where we are meeting military spouses where they are at and providing real solutions to military spouse employment. My name is Lauren Lonsdale, and I am a 16-year Marine Corps spouse. I'm the owner of a creative marketing firm and the instructor behind the Work From Home Milspo courses, which teach military spouses skills to become creative marketing virtual assistants. I am here to provide insight into creating and growing your work from home career, either as a military spouse creative marketing assistant, entrepreneur, or remote employee. Join us as we create a movement towards better solutions for military spouse employment, combat financial insecurities for military families, and work to increase service member retention by helping increase the betterment of military spouse and military family mental health. Hey everyone, Lauren, the Work From Home Milspo here. Welcome to another episode of the Work From Home Milspo podcast. Today we're going to be talking about how to get hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant and why businesses need people like you as a creative marketing virtual assistant. It's probably one of the biggest questions I get asked from my students is, okay, now that I've taken the course, or I'm going to start this course, but what happens after I'm done? What happens when I finally learn these skills and I'm ready to take on my first client? How do I find that client? How do I get hired by an agency? What do I need to be doing and looking for in order to, make that next step in my journey as a creative marketing virtual assistant? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you are not familiar with our Work From Home Milspo Movement membership, go ahead over to our website, the workfromhomemilspo.com/courses. It's spelled out the WFHmilspo.com/courses. And there you're going to find out all about our membership options. So we have a membership platform for military spouses just like you who are interested in becoming creative marketing virtual assistants. And I talked a lot in episode 2 about why being a creative marketing virtual assistant is such a great, I'm talking chef's kiss, perfect job for a military spouse with flexible hours, no childcare needed, no special degree required, PCS friendly, completely remote. If you are watching this podcast episode, you can see that I am in a MWR t-shirt and leggings. I've got my kids' frozen blanket on my lap. My office is in our dining space, and I work from home completely. My kids are home for summer break right now, so you might see them pop through or hear them as we're recording this episode. But it is such a great job / career because there is growth potential for this career. As a military spouse, I live in Okinawa, Japan. I moved this business with me. I've continued to work. Actually, my business has grown exponentially since we've lived here. And I've moved this business with me every time we've PCS'd. I took 2 months off to PCS here. I took a month off for a cruise back in December. It is flexible hours, flexible time that meets the needs and meets military spouses where they're at. Where military spouses are at is needing a career that is remote, can be moved easily, that doesn't require expensive and difficult to find childcare, that doesn't require a special college degree, that doesn't require you to sit at a desk from 9 to 5, that allows you to take time off when you need to for your family, for your kids. And it's an amazing opportunity and a life-changing opportunity for military spouses. So if you want to kind of dive into the nitty-gritty of that, check out episode 2. That talks about all about what being a creative marketing virtual assistant is, the types of things you will do for businesses and for clients, as well as why it's such a great job for military spouses. But today we're going to be talking about kind of the next step, right? So after you've learned the skills to become creative marketing virtual assistants, whether it's through our Work From Home Milspo membership or through other platforms or courses, or maybe you completely DIY it by watching YouTube videos. This is something that can be done really by anybody. But what happens once you finally do learn those skills? How do you find clients? How do you get hired? And what are you going to be doing for businesses to build up that portfolio? What types of things can you expect to be doing? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Back when I first started this kind of journey to being a virtual assistant. I didn't intentionally go into this freelance world saying, okay, I'm going to be a VA. I actually wanted to be a writer, and I was a freelance writer for a long time. And I was the managing editor of Daily Mom Military. I was the digital editor of Military Families magazine. I wrote for a number of publications, both military and civilian. And that's what I did for the majority of my 10 years in this digital media space. And back when I first started kind of taking on the roles as virtual assistant, there was no such thing as virtual assistant courses or anything like what we do over at the Work From Home Milspo membership. It really was just an hands-on training experience. You said, hey, I'm available to help you with your business. And a small business owner would say, okay, I need help with social media management. And you would just do it. Or, hey, I need help with email marketing. And they would show you how to do it, and you would just do it. Nowadays, though, it's not entry level anymore. Now you really have to have skills already before people are interested in hiring you. That's because 5 to 7, 10 years ago, remote work was not as common as it is now. Now remote work, especially after COVID, has exploded. And small businesses are now realizing that the digital footprint is an intricate and extremely important part of their business, if not the majority of most businesses. Even if you have a brick and mortar store, your the digital side of your business, your website, your social media, your email marketing, that is all such an important part of everyone's business now. Whereas 10 years ago, that wasn't really so much the case, right? 10, maybe 12 years ago, social media, there was no such thing as meta business where we had ad spend and advertising. If you had a Facebook page, that's where your advertisements went, and it wasn't paid. Anybody would see it because you didn't have this weird algorithm deciding where things showed up on Facebook, or where there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter. I was finishing up my master's degree, my student teaching, when Twitter came out. I remember hearing about it on the radio. And there was nothing like that out in the world. And so being a virtual assistant 5 to 7 years ago really was just on the job training, right? Because it was all new to everybody. Nobody really knew how to there wasn't marketing strategy for social media management, how to do ads. There wasn't all these different algorithms that you were fighting as a business. You weren't so worried about reaching people through email marketing because email wasn't something that was being done all the time by businesses. It was really first at a really more of a personal level when you would be emailing someone. So all of this has grown so much in the past 5, 7, 10 years that now being a virtual assistant, you actually do have to have the skills, because there are so many people out there who are available to do this type of work. But small businesses and solo entrepreneurs don't have the time or the capacity or the desire to train somebody how to do something. There's so many people who can already do it, that know how to do it, that have the skills, that they're going to hire those people versus somebody brand new. So when I first got started as a VA, I didn't know any of this stuff. And I grew with the industry. As the industry grew and things changed, I'd had to learn new skills because things were changing. And that's just how this industry is going to continue to be. I'm learning new things every single day. My VAs are learning new things every single day. That's just how the digital side of businesses work. But it was entry level. I could go in and say, oh, I can help you with your email marketing. Show me what you do and I'll do it for you. It's not like that anymore. So you have to have a certain set of skills in order to become be hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant. The great thing about the Work From Home Milspo membership is not only do you have access to the course, our masterclass course, our elite masterclass course, which teaches you several different platforms in web design, several different platforms in email marketing, branding, SEO, client management, project management. It teaches you all of the things that you need to become a creative marketing virtual assistant. But at the end, you also get a certificate to say you've completed this course. Yes, you have these skills. Yes, you learned all of these things within this course. So you can show it to agencies, virtual assistant agencies that you are applying to, or to clients. However, if you're freelancing or joining a VA agency, you'll have the certificate in hand to show them, hey, I actually do have these skills. I am trained in these things. Because of what a lot of small businesses run into is when they post on Facebook that they need a virtual assistant, they will get hundreds of comments from people saying, oh, I can do this for you. I've helped a client with this. Whatever it may be. And then a lot of the small businesses that come to me through or digital consulting or through Milspo Virtual Solutions, our VA agency, say, oh, I've hired 3 virtual assistants. They completely ghosted me, or they don't know what they're doing, or they take forever. I really just need somebody who's reliable and on the ball. And that's what we teach over at the Work From Home Milspo membership. And that's who we hire over at Milspo Virtual Solutions. So businesses know when they come to us that they have this reliable, highly trained, capable virtual assistant ready to go. And that's what you need to, that's who you need to be: reliable, highly trained, consistent, in order to be successful as a creative marketing virtual assistant. Okay, so what are small businesses looking for in a creative marketing virtual assistant? When I talk about being a creative marketing VA, really you are going to be working for small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. Larger businesses, multi-million dollar companies, traditional brick and mortar companies, larger businesses really will hire out a marketing team or a marketing firm, kind of like what I do as a fractional CMO with MBC, which is a internet company here in Okinawa, or they'll have their own in-house marketing team. But when you work as a creative marketing virtual assistant, you're working for a ton of different clients, a number of different clients, doing a number of different tasks for those clients. You're not really just with one person unless they hire you on as their marketing assistant, their in-house marketing assistant. So you could be doing a plethora of different tasks for small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. These tasks can include website edits and website design. They can include email marketing campaigns, sales funnels. They could sometimes include branding. They include social media management. That's a huge one. They can include things like podcast editing, video editing, anything that a small business needs in order to run the digital side of their business, to run their website, to run their email marketing, to run their social media. Those are the types of things that virtual assistants do for small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. And that's why in the Work From Home Milspo membership and our elite virtual assistant masterclass, I teach those skills. I don't teach some of the intricate podcast editing and ebook design. We have those courses coming here in 2024. But right now, as a whole, our masterclass as it is teaches you some of these highest income earning skills as a creative marketing virtual assistant. So we teach you web design on 3 platforms. We teach you email marketing on the most popular 3 different platforms. We teach you search engine optimization, social media management, including using search engine optimization in social media, hashtag research, how to create social media graphics, how to organize your social content. We teach all of those typical and high income earning skills to our students, because not only are they the highest income earning skills, especially when you talk about web design, but they're also all interconnected. So when you have a basis of how the overarching digital side of a business works, how their website's connected to their email marketing and how that's connected to social media and how all of that's connected to search engine optimization and how blog posts can be reposted or repurposed as reels, as podcasts, as Pinterest content. There's so many things that are interconnected with each other that on the outside, it seems like they're all separate. Web design is separate from email marketing, is separate from social media, but it's not. So let me give you an example of how this works for the Work From Home Milspo and how we kind of interconnect all of these things, so you can have an idea of what businesses are looking for and why it's so important to have this broad scope of these different skill sets in order to best serve your clients and in order to be hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant. Okay, so let's take this podcast, for example, right? So this podcast may seem like a separate piece from the rest of my business, But this podcast, it's going to go up on a podcast platform on Spotify. So we have some podcast editing, we have video editing. That's all done in-house by our team. And then this podcast not only will go up on a podcast platform, but it also goes up on social media. So we have on social media, we will take clips from this podcast episode to share on social media. We will share a social media graphic for this podcast episode, and it will be linked in our link in bio on Instagram. And it will also show up in clips on TikTok. So that's repurposing this content right there onto social media. It also goes up on YouTube. So that's another repurposing of content. From this podcast episode, we also will have a blog post, which is up on our website. So the podcast episode not only now is in social media on Instagram and on TikTok, but it also is a podcast or a blog post up on our website. The blog post has what's called search engine optimization, and that is SEO. So when I say SEO, I mean search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is basically how something is found on Google. So the purpose of me doing these podcast episodes and repurposing them also into a blog post is so that if somebody Googles how to become a creative marketing virtual assistant, my content will pop up. My podcast episode will pop up. My blog post will pop up. And that's how, we market. That's part of our marketing for the Work From Home Milspo. In addition to this podcast and blog post going up, we also connect the blog post to Pinterest. So we have pins going up on Pinterest showing our blog post so that when people look on Pinterest about jobs as a military spouse or a virtual assistant or work from home jobs, that our podcast episode or our blog post / podcast episode will also show up on their Pinterest. So that's another way that we market using this one single podcast. This podcast episode also will go out on our email marketing newsletter. So if you've signed up with our email marketing, or you've signed up for one of our webinars, or you're in our Creative Marketing Virtual Assistant Facebook group, we will send this podcast episode out to all of you on our list saying, hey, there's a new podcast, go take a listen. And then that's another way to kind of market what we do here at the Work From Home Milspo. So to recap, now we have this podcast. It's up on Instagram. It's up on TikTok. It's up on Pinterest. And it's also a blog post on the website. And now it's being sent out as an email newsletter to our list of subscribers. Now, how do we get people on our list of subscribers? Well, that's email marketing, and that is connected to our website. So, it's connected to a plethora of different things, but one of the areas is our website. So when you come to the website, you may see a pop-up that says either some sort of campaign that we have going on, either a discount code or maybe a webinar that we have coming, something like that. So you will sign up with that pop-up. You also possibly could have signed up with a webinar with us. That put you on our list. We also have a sign up available on our Facebook group. So if you've joined the Work From Home Military Spouse Facebook group, you may have put your email in there when you join. We ask a set of questions asking you for your email if you're interested in learning more about being a creative marketing virtual assistant. That's another way people end up on our list. And then through that list, not only do we send these podcast episodes, but we also send what's called sales funnels. So when you sign up, we have a sales funnel that sends out different emails to subscribers about what it's like to be a creative marketing virtual assistant, how much you can expect to earn, and different spaces for these newsletters to be sent out or these emails to be sent out so that you all can learn about what it's like to be a creative marketing virtual assistant. And so all of these things are interconnected. It might seem like social media is separate from podcasts, which is separate from email marketing, which is separate from your website, but it's not. And it's all interconnected. So businesses really are interested in having somebody who has a broad view and a broad scope of how all of these things work together. Maybe as you become a creative marketing virtual assistant, you'll figure out that you really don't like SEO or you really don't like social media management. And that's okay. Maybe you want to stick with website design and branding and marketing strategies. That's perfectly fine. But at least with the knowledge space that you know how these things are connected, you can better navigate your client to the best possible route for whatever they're doing, whatever their business is. You have a knowledge space to say, hey, if I create this lead magnet for you, which is kind of like a PDF, lead magnet can be different things, but for the most part, it's things like those free downloads you get when you sign up with an email list, or the discount code you get when you sign up with an email list. Hey, if I create this lead magnet for you, let's put it up on social media, and that's how we're going to do it. And let's also send an email newsletter out. And let's also send, create a pop-up on your website to make sure that people see it when they come to your site. All of those things are interconnected. You can better navigate your client to the best process for their business when you have this broad scope of knowledge basis on how all of these things work together. So you may have heard the quote, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but it's actually not the full quote. I'm going to read you the full quote. And this is, to me, I heard this on Instagram years ago, and this was like completely changed my viewpoint on being a creative marketing virtual assistant. So the full quote is actually, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So basically what that means is that someone who says they're a jack of all trades, maybe they're not a complete expert in one area, in one specific thing, but being a jack of all trades is better than being an expert in that one space, because when you are only an expert in that one particular skill set, you cannot view the whole plan, the whole scope of what your client needs, or whatever it may be. In this case, being a creative marketing virtual assistant, if you only have an expertise in just web design and you don't know how web design connects to anything else, that's not going to serve your client very well. That's not going to serve your client very far, because all you are going to be able to talk to them about is web design. You're not going to be able to help them with, once that web design is done, connecting it to their email marketing. You're not going to be able to help them connect that to social media. You're only going to know that one specific area. And that's not what small businesses and solo entrepreneurs need. What they need is somebody who has a broad view of their digital side of their business and can help navigate them through all of those different facets in a efficient and consistent way. And so when you are a jack of all trades, when it comes to being a creative marketing virtual assistant, you're much more highly marketable to small businesses and to virtual assistant agencies, because you can say, hey, I know all of these different things and all of these different systems and how they work together. And I really can meet the needs of a variety of different clients, or a variety of needs that one client may have. Okay, so let's say that now you have these skills and you've taken our Elite Marketing Virtual Assistant Masterclass, and you have the certificate in your hand and you're ready to get hired. So how do you get hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant? Well, there's two main ways that most people will start off once they've learned these different skill sets. One is to freelance, basically running your own virtual assistant business. You are a solo entrepreneur yourself. You are running your business. You are finding your own clients. You're sending the invoices. You're sending the proposals. You're writing the contracts, and you're doing the tasks. And then there is working for a virtual assistant agency, which there are a plethora of different virtual assistant agencies out there, both military spouse owned and hiring friendly, and then regular civilian virtual assistant agencies. What I generally tell my students is that just getting started, I highly recommend working for an agency first. The reason being, although it can seem very attractive to run your own business and be a freelancer and find your own clients, it is a lot of hard work, because not only are you doing the actual work as a virtual assistant, but you're also running an entire business. You're doing your own marketing, you're doing your own social content, you're doing your email marketing, you are searching for clients, you're writing the proposals, you're doing the invoicing, you're doing the budgeting and all the taxes. And all of that can be really, really overwhelming when you're a brand new virtual assistant. So I usually tell my students, hey, if you can, work for an agency first, because that allows you to not have to worry about all the other stuff. all the contracts, the invoicing, the proposals, finding clients. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff when you work for an agency. All you have to worry about is getting the tasks done that you're assigned. So there's a ton of different agencies out there that are military spouse owned and hiring friendly. All of our students at the Work from Home Milspo movement are eligible to join our own virtual assistant agency called Milspouse Virtual Solutions. We are, as the recording of this episode, a brand new VA agency. We just opened 2 months ago. And the reason I opened Milspouse Virtual Solutions was because I found my students having a really hard time being hired by agencies when they didn't have any client experience first. Many of the military spouse owned agencies out there, Squared Away, Wise Advise, Freedom Makers, VA USA, they're all aware of the Work from Home Milspo, and they know what we teach, and they know the type of content that you all are learning within that course. However, most VA agencies now, because being a virtual assistant is such a common type of skill set, more common than it was 5 to 7 years ago, they want to see you have proof of working with a client. How do you interact with a client? How did that go? How did you manage your time? They really want to make sure that you are set up for success and that you've taken the skills that you have learned and use them with an actual client. So even though you have these skills and you have the certificate in hand, a lot of VA agencies will say, come back when you've worked with a client. And so that's why we started Milspouse Virtual Solutions. We are not a full-scale VA agency. The purpose of our agency is to help our students find those first clients. We work with very small businesses or solo entrepreneurs who are looking for small project-based or small task-based projects done by a virtual assistant. And so we can say, once you finish the course, we can say, okay, here's your first client. You're going to be working 5 hours a month for this client doing social media management. And it's very little, it's small, it's not a lot, but at least gives you an opportunity to get your foot in the door. And you can have multiple clients with Milspouse Virtual Solutions or with any VA agency. You're not just bound to one singular client, but at least we, help you get that very first client. There are other VA agencies out there, and I've already named a few. Squared Away is also owned by a Marine Corps spouse. Wise Advise is military spouse owned. VA USA and Freedom Makers are both military spouse hiring friendly virtual assistant agencies. I've also worked for civilian virtual assistant agencies. Jennifer Allwood's Businessist is another great one. They do hire military spouses. It was managed by a military spouse for a long time, but they are only CONUS. So they will only hire military spouses that are CONUS. Some of the other VA agencies will hire OCONUS. Some are W-2, some are 1099s. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But I highly recommend, if you're a new creative marketing virtual assistant, getting those clients first. Working for an agency first, because that really takes off the burden of all the other stuff that comes up with being a freelance creative marketing virtual assistant. So let's say you're ready to apply to these agencies. Of course, you are going to want to make sure that you have your resume all updated, you have your course certificate or any other type of documentation to state the types of skills that you have now learned. And then I would also, and I always recommend this to my students as well, and we are actually going to be doing this in our upcoming 4 days to become a VA webinar, which you can sign up for. The link will be in the show notes. We have that coming up here in a couple of weeks. And on day 4 of that webinar, we are going to be talking about how to create a portfolio before you've ever had a client. So a lot of brand new VAs will be like, well, how do I show a potential client what I can do without having a client ever before? And I always tell them, and it sounds silly, but create a fake brand. Create a pretend brand that you can go onto ChatGPT. You can think up of one yourself and do everything you would for a client if that was an actual client of yours. Create a simple logo, create a brand board, create a one-page web design for them, do an email marketing campaign, create social media templates, create some social content, pretend social content. Do all of the things you would do for a client and use that as your portfolio. Put that up on your own website to showcase the type of things you can do, and have that be your portfolio until you get that first client, and you can add that to your portfolio. Another thing to keep in mind is not all clients will have portfolio type of deliverables that you can add to a portfolio. Sometimes it's just menial little tasks that you're doing to help a client. You really can't showcase, like physically show somebody, hey, this is what I did. So, having this kind of fake brand allows you to really show all the different skills that you have in a visual sort of way. So I do recommend doing that. So when you're getting ready to apply to these agencies, you're going to want to have your completion certificate to show the skills that you have learned. You're going to want to have a website of your own to showcase, not only what you can do, but talk a little bit about who you are and the services you provide. And we go through in the work from home Milspo movement masterclass and the membership, we go through and we make your own website. So at the end of the course, you have your own website to show potential clients or potential VA agencies, what you can do, what services you provide, and things like that. That's the purpose of this masterclass, is to have that website for you. Towards the end of the masterclass, you have this website ready to go and to share with potential clients and virtual assistant agencies. Okay, so you have your completion certificate, you have a website, and then you're also going to want to have that fake portfolio, that fake brand up on your website as a portfolio to showcase your to your potential clients and virtual assistant agencies. So now when you go to apply to someone like Squared Away or Freedom Makers or Wise Advice, you have all of these things to show not only what you can do, but the skills that you have and what types of services you can provide. And it's a great way for them to see who you are before you get to that interview process. So what about being a freelancer? So being a freelance creative marketing virtual assistant really does give you the flexibility to work as much or as little as you want, to find clients that really identify with the type of things you like to do, and does give you a little bit of freedom once you kind of have built on those skill sets. Again, it's not something I recommend to most students to just go out and start freelancing, because there are a lot of business aspects that you have to handle in addition to doing your client tasks. So it can feel very overwhelming in the beginning if you are a freelance virtual assistant and you're not only trying to manage your time and manage these brand new skills that you're still trying to kind of become an expert in, as well as doing your own social media content and marketing yourself and finding clients and writing proposals and writing invoices and writing contracts and managing the budget. It's a lot. But if you do decide to freelance, or once you've kind of got your foot in the door with an agency and you've worked for them for a little bit and you've had some clients, you're ready to step out on your own, which you can do. If you are a 1099 with one of these VA agencies, you can freelance on the side too. You can take other clients outside of the VA agency. You don't have to only work for that agency. And on top of that, if you are a 1099, you can also work for multiple virtual assistant agencies. You can work for Milspo Virtual Solutions, and I think Squared Away is a W-2, and let's say Freedom Makers. I'm not sure if they're a W-2 or 1099, but you could work for both of those agencies and take freelance clients. So that's another great thing about the flexibility of being a virtual assistant, creative marketing virtual assistant. But let's say you're ready to take on those clients on your own. How do you find these clients? Where are they? How do you get in touch with them? So this is where your website is and your portfolio, even if it's a fake brand portfolio, really comes in handy, because that is going to be your number one way to show clients, potential clients, one, that you are professional, that you have an actual website, that you are serious about your services, that you are reliable, and that you are consistent. It gives a level of professionalism and trust before they even talk to you. This is also where your portfolio comes in handy, because when they go to your website, they can look at your portfolio to see the types of things that you do, the type of design that you do, the type of the niche that you kind of fall into when it comes to design, and all about you before they even have a meeting with you, which can really kind of help to filter out people that won't be a good fit. And this is going to sound crazy and a little bit archaic, but the best way I have been able to find clients, especially when I was brand new and starting my own business, was Facebook. So Facebook has a ton of different groups for small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. I mean, probably thousands, if not, million sounds like a lot, but thousands of different Facebook groups for small businesses and solo entrepreneurs. And that is where I have found a ton of clients. In fact, my first two clients, web design clients in my creative marketing firm or a digital consulting, were from Facebook. They posted that they needed a web designer, and I was like, oh, I can do that for you. And that's how I made my first two clients. In fact, those first two clients were pretty hefty paychecks. The one web design was $2,000, which seemed mind-boggling to me. And the other web design was $7,000, which, coming off of being a virtual assistant working, $20 an hour, $22 an hour, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I can't believe that I'm, able to charge this much for a web design and able to have these clients. So, that's why we teach web design in our masterclass, because it is one of the highest income earning skills you can have. And, that's how I found my first two clients. I mean, right there, $9,000 just off of Facebook. So it's a great way to just say, hey, I'm here. I'm able to help you with this project. Here's my website. Here's my contact information. Here is, my calendar to schedule a call with me, which we show you how to do in our Work From Home Milspo membership. Set up a calendar with Calendly that connects to your Google Calendar so they can schedule a call with you, and you can do a Zoom call with them and start the onboarding process. And so that is really like the number one way to find clients as a new creative marketing virtual assistant. And having that website and that portfolio really helps you stand out from the literal thousands of people that do the same sort of thing that you do. And when you join some of these larger Facebook groups, you'll see within minutes that there's 50 comments of people saying they can do this for them. But you look through the comments and the thread, and you'll see that a lot of them don't have websites. A lot of them just say, send me a DM, I can help you with this. That's not the way to get a client. The way to get a client is to say, is to be really specific in your answer when you do answer them on Facebook. So here's an example. If you are freelancing and you decide you're going to go to Facebook and try and find clients that way, and that's going to be one of the ways you look for clients. You join a Facebook group and you see somebody say, I need a website for my e-commerce business. I sell lip gloss and hair ties, right? Like random stuff. And I need a website on WordPress with WooCommerce. That's one of the platforms we teach in the Work From Home Milspo membership. So instead of just saying, hey, I can do that for you, I'll send you a DM, or send me a DM, you can say something like this. Hey, so-and-so, and make sure you tag their name. This sounds like such an exciting project. I'd really like to help you out with this. I'm a WordPress web designer. I'm familiar with WooCommerce. Here's an idea of what I think would be great for your website. If you are selling lip gloss and hair ties, have you thought about bundling them together into small packages? We can definitely help you set that up. Here's my website. Here's my calendar to schedule a call with me. I offer free consultations. We can chat about your project and see what the best options are for you. I really look forward to talking with you. So now not only have you identified some of the things that you could do for their project that make them realize that you do have this skill set and you do have the forethought to think about what would be best for their business. You also have given a direct line of contact. They don't have to go searching to figure out how to message you or get in touch with you. And they can go ahead and schedule a call with you right away. And you've linked your website to show who you are as a person, because push comes to shove, they're hiring a person, and showcase what you can do for them. So when you go to Facebook, you have to be specific. You can't just say, hey, send me a DM, let's talk. That doesn't work. because you're competing with a lot of other people who do the same sort of thing as you do. So you want to make sure that you stand out in the best way possible. Another really good way to find clients as a freelancing creative marketing virtual assistant is through networking. Networking and word of mouth is probably over 90% of my business. Anytime I meet somebody new and we're talking about, what we do for work or, whatever it may be, I'll say, oh yeah, I run a full scope creative marketing firm and branding and web design business. These are the types of things I do. I have virtual assistants that work under me. They're all military spouses, and give kind of like a 30-second elevator pitch. Google, if you're not sure what an elevator pitch is, it's basically a 30-second pitch sort of, or like 30-second kind of explanation of what you do to somebody who may be interested or may not be interested. The whole point of you kind of giving this elevator pitch or telling them what you do is not necessarily to get their business, because they may not need anything that you offer, but it's so that you put it in their head, because push comes to shove, they probably know somebody who could utilize you. And so by telling them what you do and the types of things, services you offer, they may say, oh, I know somebody who could, that I can get you in touch with. Or even days, weeks down the road, they see something on Facebook that says, oh, I need, somebody to help me with my email marketing. They're like, oh, I just spoke to somebody who does that. Let me put you in touch with them. Networking is a huge, huge way to get new clients. The other really good way to get clients is by word of mouth or referrals. So that is, once you start getting these clients, you start working with people and they're happy with what you're doing for them, they will tell other people who are in their same social circle or same professional circle what you do. And that's probably been the bulk of my business, is that somebody said, hey, she can do that. Hey, I have a great web designer. I have a great person that does social media management. Let me get you in touch with her. That is a lot of where my business comes in. And that's a lot of how I get my clients. So although I'm on social media and I do podcasts and I do all these different things, that really is where the bulk of my business comes in for Aura Digital Consulting, is word of mouth and networking. So, that's really the best way as a freelancing virtual assistant to start gaining those clients. So, like I said, being a creative marketing virtual assistant is like the chef's kiss to being for a job for military spouses. It is flexible, remote, PCS friendly, no childcare needed. And if you guys are watching this, you saw my daughter walk through. They're home for summer break. It is completely flexible in your time. You don't need a special degree. I'm completely self-taught, which is why I teach other military spouses over at the Work From Home Milspo movement how to get these skills, and not how to get these skills. I teach you the skills to become creative marketing virtual assistants, because I know that it is a life-changing opportunity. Whether you work for an agency or you freelance, it can be a way that you generate income for your family, limit the financial and food insecurities that many military families face, increase your own mental health, because I can't even begin to tell you how satisfying it is as a stay-at-home mom / military spouse to have something that's for myself, and I'm not just so-and-so's mom and so-and-so's wife. And also can help in the long term with service member retainment. When you have a happy military spouse, happy spouse, happy house. When you have a military spouse that feels fulfilled in her career or his career and feels that it is manageable as a military family, you're going to have service members who are more willing to stay in the military than get out because their family's unhappy. So, if you guys are interested in learning more about how to become a creative marketing virtual assistant, I highly recommend you join our upcoming webinar, 4 Days to Become a VA. Over those 4 days, we're going to be talking about how to create a landing page in Wix, how to connect an email marketing platform and create a campaign. We're going to be talking about how to create a lead magnet in social media management. And we're also going to be talking about what we talked about today, how to get hired as a creative marketing virtual assistant, how to find those companies, and how to create that actual fake brand to create a portfolio before you have a client. So I hope you guys join us there. Otherwise, check out our courses over at the WFHMilspo.com/courses, and you can check out all our different membership options. We have 3 different options that have access to our course content as well as our community of military spouse, creative marketing, virtual assistant students. We offer social media templates monthly live trainings, brand board templates monthly, job opportunities that we post pretty much almost every day. We have a new job opportunity that we found for creative marketing virtual assistants. So all of that is within our community, as well as just a community of learners who are just like you, military spouses, just trying to make a difference in their family's life. So I'm so happy for you guys to have joined me for episode number 3 of the Work From Home Milspo Movement podcast. My name is Lauren Lonsdale. I am the Work From Home Milspo, meeting military spouses where they're at. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we gave you some valuable insight into your work from home career as a military spouse. If you haven't already, we hope you join us over at the Work From Home Milspo membership, where you will learn the skills to become a creative marketing virtual assistant, as well as have the ongoing support of military spouses just like you, live trainings from me, and resources to use for yourself or your clients. Visit us at the WFHMilspo.com, as well as our virtual assistant agency made just for students, MilspoVirtualSolutions.com. And give me a follow on Instagram and TikTok to get more daily tips and information on remote work for military spouses. My name is Lauren Lonsdale, and